Welcome back to another State of the USMNT. Today I have a very exciting and entertaining video for all you big-time fans of the USMNT, big-time fans of the State of the USMNT, whatever it is. Today we're going to be talking about who I think the four center backs are going to be, who I believe the four center backs Greg Berhalter is going to pick for the World Cup qualifiers. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to pick 5 or 4, but today I'm going to pick 4. I think we usually just take 4. And there's been a lot of buzz. There's been a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people close to the USMNT media predicting, trying to project, giving their opinion on who they think the center back 2 is going to be. Who the 4 center backs are going to be. In my opinion, I truly don't know who the center back 2 is going to be right now at the moment. If I was to give you my opinion, I'd say that a Miles Robinson can fit in there nicely with a John Brooks. That's an option, but today we're not going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about the 4 center backs that Greg Berhalter should definitely take if he wants to have the best shot at winning these World Cup qualifiers, in my opinion. Now, as you can see here, we're going to be busting out the tier maker, the tier video today. We have 3 slots where these players all can land on. And yes, we do have John Brooks, we have Aaron Long, we have Mark McKenzie, CCV, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Chris Richards, Eric PalmerBrown. I think that's Henry Kessler, Matt Miyaza, Donovan Pines, Miles Robinson, Tim Ream, and Walker Zimmerman. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I think of each of these players, whether they belong, whether they deserve to go, or whether maybe it's too early, or whether they just can't cut it. We're going to put each player in their respective slot. And the slots we do have here is obviously on the plane. That means that, hey, you're good enough. Berhalter wants you. You got a ticket. Pack your bags. We're going to the World Cup qualifiers. Maybe next time necessarily doesn't mean a bad thing. It can mean a good thing because maybe the player's not fully developed and he's still developing. He's making strides into his development to develop, and he's probably going to get better in the future, and then maybe we can incorporate him. And then we have thank you, but no. Basically, that means you're not good enough. You probably will never be good enough for the USMNT, at least not in the World Cup qualifiers. Maybe you'll be serviceable for like a Gold Cup or a friendly, but to play in a solid competitive match like a World Cup qualifier or a World Cup match, you're not going to cut it. And that's where those players will end up. Now, the first center back we're going to be talking about is John Brooks. John Brooks, obviously, you know what type of player he is, what he brings to the table. He brings that veteran presence. He's been there, done that, been part of the World Cup qualifiers at a certain time, was part of the World Cup back in 2014 when in the Brazil FIFA World Cup 2014 when he scored that goal against Ghana for the USMNT, where he couldn't believe it and he just dropped to the ground and he was just holding his head down in the ground celebrating. So John Brooks, man, he's the only veteran presence we have aside from a Tim Ream or a Matt Miyaza. I think he currently plays for Wolfsburg right now, and he's holding it down, man. He's been playing in the German Bundesliga for a while now. I mean, his whole career, basically. He's one of those dual nats. He's kind of German/US. There's just nothing much I could say about John Brooks aside from he's going on the plane. Like, this guy belongs. Overall favorite to be the center back 1. John Brooks, and he's been a favorite for Greg Berhalter ever since he became a coach. So John Brooks is going to go on the plane for me. We're moving over to Aaron Long here. Now, Aaron Long is one of those players that, in my opinion, was getting involved little by little, a little bit more with the USMNT, was definitely making strides to become and cement himself as a center back 2 along with John Brooks. He was looking good until he suffered an injury, and he was looking to make a move to Europe as well, abroad, until he suffered that Achilles injury that's definitely set him back big time. I think he is only 28 or 27 years old. So he's getting a little older, man. And when you get a little older and those injuries happen, it's a little harder to come back from them. You're not that young 21, 22-year-old kid anymore. I think that injury has definitely affected Aaron Long big time, not only in the club, but also in the USMNT level. Right now, obviously, he's not ready to go. So I'm going to say thank you, but no. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to say thank you, but no, I'm going to say maybe next time. I'm going to say that because obviously Aaron Long is a productive center back. We already know what he could do for a Greg Berhalter under his system. He looks good. He looks great, as a matter of fact. Right now, he's injured, and obviously, like I said, I can't take him. You can't take an injured player, so we're going to put him on the maybe next time because when he's healthy, we could probably take another look at him. But for now, he's going there. Our next center back is Mark McKenzie. I really like this kid. Very young, 22 years old. He's still developing. Made the move over to Genk. He's in Europe abroad. So I like that. I really like that. And I like the type of player he is. It reminds me of basically, in my opinion, he's a mix of a modern center back / old style center back. Modern because he's fast enough to make up for any mistake he's made or any mistake his teammate makes. Basically has that catch-up makeup speed. And old style center back because he's just physical. Like, he'll pummel your ass. He'll put you on your ass. So he has a blend of both. He's fast and he's physical. I like that about him. And the only problem is that he does have some mental lapses on occasion, but those are some growing pains, and every player goes through it, especially a player of his age, 22 years old. He's very young and he's still developing. He's still maturing. I really like the fact that he's very serviceable and you could just plug him in and he's safe. He's safe back there. And he already has some chemistry with John Brooks, obviously via the CNL playoffs. So I'm going to give Mark McKenzie the second ticket to go to the World Cup qualifiers for Greg Berhalter. Best case scenario with McKenzie is he starts with John Brooks, and like I said, they have the chemistry already. Worst case scenario, he's a sub, but we already know what he can do coming in as a starter. So as a sub, there's no problem with that. I really like him. Cameron Carter-Vickers, he's one of those players that I've been following since like 2017, 2016, around there. I've been following this kid ever since, especially when he was playing for the youth system for the USMNT. He was looking good. He was looking promising, has been at Tottenham forever. Currently at Bournemouth, I think, but just one of those players that hasn't really taken that step in his development. I hear a lot of things about CCV. Oh, you know, he's good. The only problem I have with him is that he's not consistent enough. I just don't think he's consistent enough where he can garner my attention, at least as a backup. He's still young. I think he's like 23, 24. So he's still developing, plays for Tottenham, but is constantly on loan, has been on loan cycles forever. I just don't think that right now he's currently in the mix, at least not even for a backup. I mean, Berhalter hasn't even taken a whiff at him. So I'm going to say maybe next time. Who knows? Maybe he does take a development step forward and you know, he becomes a solid center back. But right now at the moment, I think there's other center backs that are better than him and that are higher on the list for Berhalter at the moment. Henry Kessler. I really don't know much about Henry Kessler. He was just recently called up by Greg Berhalter when they were playing in the Gold Cup for the Gold Cup playoffs for the elimination round. I think he saw some action a little bit. Saw him action, not a lot, didn't start, but I really don't know what we have in him. I think that it's a little too soon for me. It's still very, very soon for me. He's only 2021, so he's still developing. Like I said, you know, he could potentially make a move to Europe if he's doing good enough here at the club level in the MLS. Right now, I just don't think that he's well known enough. Like I said, I really don't know much of him, and I know he's a pretty tall center back, but technically I'm not sure what he offers, and safety-wise, I'm not sure what he offers. So right now at the moment, I'm going to say thank you, but no. And that's not because he stinks. That, like I said, it's just I don't know what type of player he is. I need to watch a little bit more film on him. And then maybe in the future, if he is good enough, if he garners my attention, then maybe I can incorporate him. But right now, thank you, but no, Henry Kessler. Thank you, but no. Now, Eric PalmerBrown, in my opinion, he's one of those players that it kind of falls under the same category of a Cameron Carter-Vickers. Had a lot of upside, a lot of potential, had a big high ceiling, but just never really panned out. Eric PalmerBrown's been on the move ever since a young age. I think 20, maybe 18 years old, 19 years old. I'm not sure exactly, but I think he's been around like Man City or Juve or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what team he's at, but I think Man City. So Eric PalmerBrown's rights belong to Manchester U23, Manchester City U23, but is constantly being on loans, going out to Netherlands, going out to Austria, going out to Belgium. You get the gist of it. So yeah, basically Eric PalmerBrown is one of those players that had a high ceiling. It just never panned out. Once again, a fine prospect, just continuous loan cycle, and has yet to find a team. And surprisingly, it's Manchester City that owns the rights to this kid. But for some reason, I don't even know why, if they're not even going to play this kid. They're not going to play this kid, and he's only 24 years old. But for now, I mean, the World Cup qualifiers are rolling up in a couple weeks, next month, and I don't think he's done enough right now at the moment to garner the attention of Berhalter, let alone mine, or an even playing time at the USMNT level. So I'm just going to throw him at the maybe next time. Now we're moving over to Chris Richards and Matt Miyaza. This is where it starts getting a little bit tough because we have Chris Richards, we have Matt Miyaza, we have Walker Zimmerman. We do have Tim Ream here. I just threw him in there for fun. And Miles Robinson. Now, there's 4 players here that can easily take those 2 slots up there that could potentially be on the plane for the World Cup qualifiers. We're going to move on to Chris Richards here. Chris Richards is currently in a situation where he does have a club, but he doesn't have a club. Plays for Bayern. Well, doesn't play for Bayern. Hasn't even started for the senior team as of late. And Bayern does own his rights, but continuously keeps sending him out on loan cycles once again. Now, this is one of those players where I think that he is going to make the move, and I'm predicting, and you could come back here on this channel and tell me that I was right, but I'm predicting that Chris Richards will potentially make a move in the near future, a permanent move. And there are rumors that Hoffenheim are looking to bring him back on a loan. He did play at Hoffenheim last year. He is getting that playing time, had 13 appearances for Hoffenheim last year and scored a goal. And looks like Hoffenheim is interested in bringing him back on a permanent deal or on a loan. Regardless, they're looking to bring him back, and in my opinion, they loved what they saw from him. In my opinion, Chris Richards is one of those prospects on this list that is a little bit more of on the complete side, checks kind of all the boxes. The only box he doesn't check off is that he's not getting consistent playing time. But aside from that, he's one of those prospects that has a perfect blend of mental, physicality, speed, and just is good overall. Is able to deliver some nice, solid deep passes from the back line, 30 yards down the field to his midfielders or strikers. Is fast enough to eliminate any issue, any striker that's trying to score. Is fast enough to mitigate that attack. Overall, just is a good blend, and I like the kid. Now, the only problem is that he's not getting any consistent time. And there was also another rumor that Leicester City was possibly interested in going after Chris Richards, since their young, promising center back Wesley Fofana has left with an injury and isn't coming back till the year 2022. So the rumor is that Leicester City is looking for a bridge center back, and that could potentially be Chris Richards, a bridge center back from now till next year until Wesley Fofana recovers. This kid is looking good. Like I said, checks off all the boxes except for him not playing as much. But is 21 years old and is one of the most complete prospects. So I'm definitely tossing him on the plane with Mark McKenzie and John Brooks. Now, Matt Miyaza, he's one of those players that, in my opinion, reminds me of Eric PalmerBrown in the aspect of, they were promising, they had a high ceiling when they were coming through the ranks, through the MLS ranks in their respective youth system for their team. They look good. They look promising. They were slated to be future center backs for us at the USMNT level. None of them panned out. Matt Miyaza, for example, he was looking good at New York Red Bulls. He was 2021, developing nicely. In my opinion, was supposed to be the starter alongside with John Brooks at the center back 2 position a long time ago, until he made the move to Chelsea and has been stuck on loan cycles time after time after time again. Hasn't really been able to find his club, his footing. Poor kid, I feel bad for him. But that's what happens, man. When you're a promising product, a lot of big teams, a lot of big giant teams from all over the world are going to come after you, and they're going to want to sign you. And if you say yes, you're probably going to ride the bench. And if you're not good enough, you're never probably going to break into the first team. That's what happened with Matt Miyaza. Not saying he's not good enough, but just not good enough to play at Chelsea. It is very tough because I have Matt Miyaza, I have Miles Robinson and Walker Zimmerman, and there's only one spot left. But Matt Miyaza, I think he needs to settle down. He needs to find that club that he could call home, a club that's going to believe in his technical ability and his development ability, and settle down. And then maybe we can incorporate him. But right now, I think that there's more players out there that have already surpassed him in the depth chart. For example, a 22-year-old Mark McKenzie, a 20-year-old Chris Richards, in my opinion. So for now, Matt Miyaza is going to be on the maybe next time. Matt Miyaza, don't get me wrong, he's more than a serviceable backup. God forbid John Brooks, Mark McKenzie, or Chris Richards at the moment can't go. You could plug him in and you probably wouldn't miss a beat as a backup, or maybe potentially as a starter. Who knows? But right now, he's going to ride the maybe next time train until he settles his club situation. Donovan Pines, man. I really like this kid. I really want to like him, actually, as a matter of fact. I'm going to correct myself. I really want to like this kid. Now, the only problem with him is that he has a lot of mental lapses, and I did see his atrocities, his mistakes against Canada for the USMNT when he came in relief for Walker Zimmerman, who had to leave that Canada game early with an injury. Came in, kind of settled down at first, but then had a lot of heavy touches, a lot of heavy passes, a lot of heavy receptions, gave the ball away to the striker, the Canadian striker there, even at one point. I just really want to like this kid, but I can't. Not at the moment. I just don't see enough in him to be a solid starter at the center back, let alone even a backup. I wouldn't even trust this kid to come in as a backup at the moment, especially after what I saw in that Canada game again with him. Just not good enough. And when I say I want to like this kid, I really do. And the reason is because, in my opinion, he's a specimen. He's one of those, he's just a rare specimen. He's 6'4", 6'5", I believe, a very big, tall center back, very physical, lean, as a matter of fact, and has that speed to basically catch up with any striker. So he's a perfect blend of speed, athleticism. Now, the only problem, like I said, he doesn't have it up here yet, going through those growing pains. And right now, we don't need those growing pains affecting us at the World Cup qualifiers, because we need to book that ticket to Qatar, baby. And right now, Donovan Pines just doesn't have it. So thank you, but no thank you, Donovan Pines. Thank you, but no thank you. Now we're going to be talking about Tim Ream here. Tim Ream is one of those players that's been around forever. I think he's like 36, 37. He's obviously way past his prime now, kind of slowing down in that later part of his career already. In my opinion, probably approaching retirement in a couple years. Was a serviceable player. Kind of threw him in here for fun, kind of for nostalgia, in my opinion, for some of you guys out there. But overall, Tim Ream, I mean, right now, I don't think that he can hack it with the level of competition the CONCACAF is. He's not the fastest, not the technical, and he's very left-footed. So right now, at the moment, well, actually, as a matter of fact, from now on, Thank you, but no thank you, Tim Ream. I appreciate your services in the past. So we're down to one spot and two center backs. The two center backs here is Walker Zimmerman and Miles Robinson. Obviously, two solid center backs. Walker Zimmerman plays for Nashville. Miles plays for Atlanta. I think Walker was the best defender, I think, this past season, if I'm not mistaken. And I probably misspelled his name, but that's fine. That's why I have Google. Has been named the 2020 MLS Defender of the Year. Holy moly, Walker Zimmerman, Defender of the Year? Okay, so now that changes things. We did see him a little bit in the Gold Cup, had to leave with injury. Aside from that, looked okay. Wasn't the best, wasn't the most technical, the fastest center back, was serviceable. And in my opinion, Walker Zimmerman could be more than serviceable for a Gold Cup, a friendly, if he's needed. The reason why I wouldn't start Walker Zimmerman along with John Brooks, well, pairing him with John Brooks, is because John Brooks, we already know what we get with John Brooks. He's long, he's tall, he's technical, not the fastest. So can you imagine putting two tall and towering center backs that have no speed whatsoever in the back line? Can you imagine what happened? Can you imagine what the strikers, the forwards in Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras would do to us? They would bend and break and snap our back line in a heap. And that's why I'm saying we need to start a center back that has a good combination of speed and smarts and technical ability as center back 2 to pair him with John Brooks. That way, if John Brooks does get caught up in transition, our center back 2 can obviously eliminate the error, eliminate the mistake, eliminate the attempt on goal. And Walker Zimmerman does not fit the bill because obviously, like I said, he's a towering slow center back. But then let's talk about Miles Robinson. Now, Miles Robinson, in my opinion, I really didn't know much of him. This guy just came onto the scene, bursted onto the scene. I knew he played for Atlanta United, obviously, and he's a starter there. He's a sure starter there. Now, I didn't know what we had in him until I saw him in the Gold Cup, and man, he was a wall in the Gold Cup. This guy was a revelation in the Gold Cup for Greg Berhalter, and with that performance, with that type of performance, I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to garner some attention from Europe. Maybe not this transfer window, maybe in the next one, but he's definitely going to Europe for sure. Miles Robinson will be going to Europe. Now, if I was to choose one of these center backs here, do we really need another towering center back in Walker Zimmerman? Or should we go with a blend of smart, speed, and physicality with a Miles Robinson? But we already have that with a Mark McKenzie. I think I'm going to go with Miles Robinson on the plane because this kid, he was special. This kid just, granted, it wasn't against the best competition in the Gold Cup, but still held it down. And he scored that late winning goal against Mexico to give us our second trophy, to give the USMNT their second trophy of the summer. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I think even Miles Robinson could be center back too. We could pair him with a John Brooks. Like I said, John Brooks is a big, tall center back. And Miles Robinson could be a nice pairing with him. Has that nice blend of speed, physicality, and awareness. So I like him. I like him a lot. I think I'm going to go with Miles Robinson on that plane with John Brooks, Mark McKenzie, and Chris Richards, and Walker Zimmerman. Thank you, but no thank you, man. I think Walker Zimmerman has definitely, his time with the USMNT is over. At least for now. Maybe next year they'll call him in, or if there's an injury in the World Cup qualifiers, he can definitely be one of those players that gets called in as a backup. So you know what? Actually, I'm not going to put him in the thank you, but no, I'm going to put him in the maybe next time because, like I said, if Brooks or McKenzie or Richards or Robinson, in my opinion, go down with injury, he can definitely go in there and plug him in. So yeah, this is my tier. The players I am taking on the plane with me, if I was Berhalter, is definitely Brooks, Mark McKenzie, Chris Richards, and Miles Robinson. The players that I'll take a look at maybe next time if I need one, if I need to pull a player out of the pool and chuck him into the starting lineup or as a backup. I think Aaron Long, if he recovers from that injury, he can be a viable option. Cameron Carter-Vickers can definitely be an option if he takes those steps in his development. Same goes with Eric Palmer-Brown. Got to develop and find that home, Eric Palmer-Brown. If not, there's no point in me incorporating you here because honestly, you're not making strides in developing, right? Miyaza, man, you need to settle down. You need to find a home. You look like a kid here that doesn't know what he wants. You've been out on loan a lot. Pick a place. Tell Chelsea that you want to stay there. Do it for yourself, man. Do it for yourself. Walker Zimmerman, like I said, serviceable, maybe next time. Henry Kessler, I really don't know much about him. Potentially, he could maybe sneak in there into the maybe next time candidate. He could be a candidate there. Donovan Pines, I want to love him, but like I said, there's too many mental lapses. And in the World Cup qualifiers, we can't use that. We don't need that. We don't have time, no room for errors or mistakes. We need to be on tip-top shape. Our back line needs to be intact, and we need to be ready to go. And I don't think that can happen with the Donovan Pines in the mix. And Tim Ream, man, it's been a good run. Tim Ream, like I said, you've been a solid player for the USMNT in the past. I think he's currently still playing in Europe, so he's been in Europe forever, his whole damn career. 36, 37 years of age, I think. So his good years are behind him, but once again, thank you so much, Tim Ream, for everything you've done. This is going to be my 4 center backs that I would take on the plane to the World Cup qualifiers / World Cup. And if we do need a 5th center back for the World Cup, maybe we could chuck in a Walker Zimmerman or a Matt Miyaza there, right? If we needed to. But for now, these are my 4 center backs that I'm predicting that Berhalter should take if he wants to have a successful winning World Cup qualifiers. Now, with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this type of video. If you guys enjoy this type of content where I basically break down the USMNT players, the players from each position using tiers and basically doing this like what I did today, hit that comment section. Let me know you guys like it. Put a thumbs up if you like these type of videos. Put a thumbs down if you don't. And if it does good, maybe I'll break down the future positions with a tier maker as well. We'll break down every single position for the USMNT using tier makers. And the giveaway is still going on, so make sure you subscribe, hit the comment section, like the channel, share it, all that good stuff, so you enter for a potential USMNT Pulisic original jersey for free. Aside from that, see you guys next time.